Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Dan at HomeForks Investing. Really exciting news. Trump signs executive order protecting against eviction bans, payroll tax cuts, $400 unemployment benefits, and student loan forbearance. Let's get right into it. Now, for you guys new to the channel, please make sure to like and subscribe for related content that helps the bottom line, which is your pockets. Just to catch you guys up to speed, we had the HEROES Act that was proposed by the Democrats, which was about $3 trillion. We had the HEALS Act proposed by the Republicans, which was $1 trillion. Negotiations kept going back and forth, and of course, they did not come to any sort of conclusion. So as of yesterday, Friday, August 7th, Trump flaunted talks of an executive order that he will be signing, and today, lo and behold, an executive order was signed. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's curious to see how this is going to play out, because there are multiple reports that state that the Democrats are going to try to take some type of legal action against Trump. However, in the press conference, Trump seemed really confident that no one will really go against these executive orders because they benefit the American public. What's also interesting to note is how is this going to play out in the future as far as negotiations with another stimulus package. The Eviction Man, as many of you remember from the CARES Act, simply protected tenants from being evicted. That protection ended at the end of July. However, Trump just signed an executive order to extend that protection all the way until the end of the year. An important thing to note also is that Trump stated that he would also have funds going out to renters, lenders, landlords, and homeowners as well. So it looks like he's not just looking to extend that, but also put some money in the hands of people within these sectors. Let's get into the payroll tax cut. There are two benefits that are usually taken out for payroll from an employee, which are your Social Security benefits and your Medicare benefits. So what the payroll tax cut means to you, an employee, is that these taxes will be deferred and you will not have to pay these taxes up until the rest of the year. Now, what's interesting to note about this is that these are deferred payments. They're not exactly waived, so at some point you will have to owe these payments, which at one point many of the individuals were against the payroll tax cut, pushing back against Trump because they figured this is something that eventually will hurt Americans and not necessarily help them out. It's a temporary relief, but it doesn't really solve a problem because it just makes it worse for an individual later on if he now has to back pay all of these taxes for these social benefits. Let's give you an example of how this works. Generally, about 6.2% is taken out for your Social Security taxes and about 1.45% is taken out for your Medicare taxes. So say an individual makes $100,000, they pay about $6,200 a year in Social Security and they pay about $1,450 a year into the Medicare program. Trump has extended this payroll holiday until the end of the year. So technically it's going to seem like you have a raise in your paycheck because you won't be paying for these two social benefits. The great thing about this is that it obviously puts more money in the hands of employees at the time being. It's just interesting to see if somehow this could be waived so that the individual doesn't have to pay back all of these taxes. The next thing that's also extended until the end of the year is student loan forbearance. Those individuals that have student loans and will make payments now have the ability to have their forbearance extended all the way until the end of the year. Now let's get into the unemployment. Just to give you guys a recap, originally many individuals under the CARES Act had an additional $600 pandemic unemployment assistance, which ended July 31st. Now the Democrats were fighting to keep this $600 going until the end of the year. However, the Republicans under the HEALS Act were not willing to keep the $600 going until the end of the year. Now the Republicans did say they would compromise and give $200 and that the benefit would phase out. As far as what we know from the executive order, individuals will now receive $400 additional pandemic assistance, from which Trump stated that 25% of that would have to be paid by the individual states and 75% of that will be paid by the federal government, which is interesting to note because a lot of states already had issues because they already don't have any money to pay for unemployment. So it's curious to see how this is going to play out and how states are going to actually rise to this occasion. Another interesting point is that when Trump was asked why $600 and not $400 is because he stated that amount would actually incentivize individuals to go back to work. That was one of the major issues with the Republicans, is that they felt that $600 disincentivized individuals from going back to work because they felt like individuals were actually making more money staying at home than they actually were working, so why go back to work? Again, like I said, it's curious to see what's going to happen with the Democrats and how this would impact future negotiations. Now, it's important to also know during his press conference, Trump really didn't address the $1,200 stimulus checks going out to individuals. I'm assuming this will be something that will be left for the stimulus package. Again, it's interesting to note how exactly will the stimulus package play out as far as negotiation goes and what exactly will happen. If you like what you saw, please make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and stay tuned for more related videos. Thank you, and see everybody next time.
Be strong.